Hey guys, this is your fiery friend the Infernoman here, and if you're into games, you're right where you need to be. But before we get into it, if you like the content that I put out there, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit me up with a like, or even better, subscribe to me. It really shows that people do care about my content. Now, if you have questions, comments, stuff you'd like to see played or discussed, you can @me on Twitter or chat directly with me as I stream 2 to 3 times a week on Twitch. A visual link for those are up on the screen right now, and I will have direct links in the details below. And for today's video, I'm just going to simply ask you a question. Are you ready for the Historic Artisan event coming up? If you're watching this video as of the posting, that means it is happening right now. But you're probably thinking in your head, well, Infernoman, I don't actually have a deck specifically made for Artisan. I don't even know what is Artisan. Well, really quick, let me just explain it to you. Artisan is simply going to be a deck that you use with only commons and uncommons. And good for you if you're watching this channel. That's mostly what a lot of my decks actually do. So, real quick, I'm going to give you a very brief overview of some of the deck techs that I have created, and any one of these would be great for the Historic Artisan event going on. Now, remember that if you do like any of the decks, I actually do have within those videos detailed information of how you can upgrade them to something a lot more competitive. Alright, enough of me talking. Are you ready to check these out? Let's go over them. Deck number 1. Mono Red Bird. This is actually a very easy deck to pilot. You're mostly going to be putting out in the early game your cards such as Gitu Lava Runner and Viashino Pyromancer to hit your opponent for early damage. Start racking up that damage early, so this way you can come in with your Chandra's Pyroling to finish off your opponent. You'll be utilizing a mixture of burn spells to either hit your opponent's creatures, but most likely hit their face. Don't forget to tap that Thermal Alchemist so you can increase the damage of each of your burn spells. Deck number 2. Mono Blue Tempo. If you're more of a person that likes to mess with your opponent's head by utilizing things such as counter spells, then consider this deck instead for the event. Mono Blue Temples is also another easy deck to use, where you'll be putting out early creatures such as a Siren Stormtamer, Spectral Sailor, or a Terramander, then attaching to them a card such as Curiosity or Curious Obsession to then create card advantage. Keep your creature safe utilizing a mixture of counter spells until you can finish off your opponent with something as big as a Brineborn Cutthroat. Deck number 3. Mono Black Devotion. If you're a person that's more about the mid-range and generating value from creatures, then consider this instead for the event. You'll be utilizing cards such as Cauldron Familiar while you slowly whittle away their life. Keep your life total high using cards like Gifted Aetherborn and hand disruption such as Yarok's Fenlurker to ensure that you have the advantage against your opponent. Once you have the board under your control, you'll then cast a Grey Merchant of the Apostle to finish them off for a massive amount of life drain. Number 4. Mono White Ascend. Now, if you're more of an aggressive style player who is trying to get as fast as a win as possible, then consider this deck instead. With this deck, you'll be putting down as many creatures as you can in the early game with cards such as Soul Warden, Snubhorn Sentry, and Skymark Aspirant. With these cards, you'll be able to start swinging as fast as possible, and as soon as you get the City's Blessing, many of your creatures and other abilities will then pump themselves up to then help you finish off your opponent in one massive swing. And finally, number 5. Mono Green Mutate. Are you more of a person that would rather build up the biggest, baddest creature you can? Then consider this deck. In the early game, you're going to be trying to put down ramp to get as many lands out as possible, so this way you can start mutating as soon as you can onto one of your smaller creatures such as Almighty Bushwhack or Paradise Druid. Once you start building up your board's value with cards such as Migratory Greathorn or mutating with Auspicious Sterix, you'll then be able to generate a lot of card advantage whether it goes onto the field or into your hand. Finish off your opponent with a massive swing to get your victory. And there you have it. Those are the 5 decks that I recommend for the Historic Artisan event that's currently going on right now. I know, it's not a very long video. I didn't want to go super in-depth, mainly because all of these decks already have their own in-depth videos. If you haven't seen any of them, be sure to look into my channel. I will have them all there, and I will provide links for you for each of these deck techs in the details below. Now that the 4th Historic Anthology is out, I'm going to need a little bit more time to develop some decks, so bear with me on this, guys. In the meantime, I am trying to get all my equipment together again to prepare for future streams. If you guys do like any of the stuff I do, or if you are interested in figuring out when I will stream, I will eventually come up with a new schedule for streaming down the line. But aside from that, thanks again for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe if I helped you out, you learned something, or at least entertained you. And remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.